Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the beautiful city of Las Vegas, Nevada. We are here at the Poker Go studio in the Aria Resort and Casino, and we have almost all of our play-ins matches complete. Just a singular match remains for our play-ins, and we're here to bring that action to your screens. My name is Munchables. I'm going to be joined once again by Tasty Bacon as we head towards our final play-in game.
Yeah, this is the last one before we know the full round of 16, the final chance for one of these play-in teams to solidify themselves into that spot.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at how today is going to be playing out in our Razor phone schedule. We have but one game remaining in North America. You can see Witch Doctor VG versus Devious Methods. That will be our final best of three for the day and for the play-ins in general. And then, as you said, we'll be heading on into our round of 16. We'll be moving on with our tournament. We'll be seeing the big hitters coming back on into the situation. But let's take a look at how this tournament is going to be played out. For any of you that have missed the action so far, this is our Poker Go format. We have 5 weeks of play. This week is the play-ins, which is to qualify for the top 16.
Yeah, and of course, once you're in the top 16, that's when the competition starts to get a bit more fierce. Obviously, the top 8 is when you have like all top level teams remaining, but this is the chance when teams can upset the big dogs, take down teams like Queso, Clash, Tribe, Nova, those are the teams that have the big targets painted on their back, and this is what they're all gunning for.
Yeah, they certainly are. This is our Dollar Shave Club prize pool. We have $5,000 for Europe and $5,000 for North America. $3,000 is the top prize for our winning team. That is a good chunk of money to be walking away with off of just 5 weeks of gameplay. But before we go more on into the tournament, we have some very exciting news for you guys. If you've been following very closely on Twitter, you'll know that Silvernail is the new hero coming to Vainglory. And if you haven't caught it already, we are going to show you the new hero spotlight for Silvernail.
Hey, this is Ciderhelm, and welcome to the Vainglory Hero Spotlight. Today we're looking at Silvernail, a bounty hunter with an arsenal of tools. Silvernail specializes in separating the battlefield through smart placement of his tripwires. Once his target is isolated, he uses his giant crossbow to send his foes to the afterlife. Silvernail's heroic perk, Double Shot, allows him to fire an extra bolt from his crossbow by holding his ground after an attack. The availability of this attack is shown by the white meter beneath his health. Double Shot can be fired more frequently by purchasing attack speed items. Silvernail's first ability plants a stake at the chosen location. When placed near an existing stake, a tripwire will be formed between them. When an enemy moves over a tripwire, they are slowed, silenced, and take continuous damage. Additionally, tripwires block enemy dashes, making it difficult for enemies to advance or retreat across their path. This ability can also hold up to 2 charges, allowing Silvernail to immediately create a tripwire in a pinch. Overdriving this ability greatly increases the duration that the tripwires stay on the field, so level this first if zoning the enemy is a priority. Silvernail's Caustic Blessing lobs a flask that deals damage in an area and reveals enemies it hits for a short period of time. Additionally, this will refresh his Double Shot perk upon casting. Use Caustic Blessing right after firing the double bolts in order to achieve the maximum amount of burst damage. The overdrive for Caustic Blessing greatly increases its range and damage while significantly reducing its cooldown. Level this up first if Silvernail needs a little extra damage to finish off his enemies. Silvernail's ultimate, Rebuke, fires a piercing bolt that deals damage and impales every enemy it passes through. Those struck by the bolt are dragged along the path and are stunned if they collide into a wall, a structure, or tripwire. Each point in the ultimate also passively increases the damage Silvernail deals with his Double Shot perk. This is a great ability to create some distance if enemy heroes get too close, or if Silvernail needs to engage onto an enemy hero. This is particularly useful if the enemy has just walked through a tripwire, since a well-timed rebuke will send them right back to get silenced and slowed again. When playing Silvernail, it's critical to plan ahead. As he pushes the bottom lane by himself, take note of how Silvernail prepares for a fight by placing stakes in nearby brush. When the enemy glaive appears and sprints forward, he throws up a second stake and forms a tripwire, but glaive slips by just in time and knocks Silvernail towards a turret. Fortunately, the tripwire is positioned between them, which is exactly where Silvernail needs it to be. Glaive is forced to cross the wire in order to engage the Silvernail, but as soon as he steps through, Rebuke sends him back and stuns him against the far wall. There, Silvernail dances around the line, keeping the big cat on the other side of the wire, then finishes him off with barely a scratch thanks to his skilled positioning. Silvernail excels when playing defensively, but his tools are also great for chasing his foes down. In this clip, Silvernail recalls back to base to defend from an oncoming push. As soon as he gets into position, he immediately fires his rebuke, pinning 2 enemy heroes against the wall of the base and instantly deleting the low-health Ringo. Then, with Adagio stunned, he turns his attention to Lyra and finishes her off before chasing the fleeing Seraphim. He lands a basic attack, applying the red orb slow, which gives Silvernail just enough time to throw out 2 stakes and create a tripwire directly on top of Adagio. Adagio tries to step away from the tripwire, but it's too late. Silvernail fires a double shot, Caustic Blessing, double shot combo, picking up a triple kill and keeping his base intact. Thanks for watching the Silvernail Hero Spotlight. He'll be coming to Vainglory in Update 3.6 with the new Tribal Silvernail skin, so make sure to give him a try.
Man, Silvernail looks like one heck of a hero. I am excited. Like, as a long-time weapon power carry, not just in Vainglory, but in other MOBAs as well, this looks right up my alley.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of neat mechanics going on with the stake and the rebuke. Massive knockback on that ability. Definitely looks like it's going to be a playmaker for sure.
Yeah, the stakes look really interesting, like how you can position. Like, it feels like there's a very high skill ceiling on this hero. I'm excited to see some of your professional carries really get their hands on this and see what kind of plays they can pull off. Like, you guys like Dienzio, I want to see him on this and see what he can pull out of the bag. But man, I am excited to get my hands onto him myself. And honestly, just the damage looks pretty terrifying. I mean, weapon power carries with a passive like that, sounds like it's going to be a pretty great combo.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's going to be in a few weeks' time. We'll be able to get our hands on Silvernail in competitive. But right now, we do have our hands on our first matchup of this best of 3. And that's going to be, once again, it is Witch Doctor VG on the blue side taking on Devious Methods on the red.
It certainly is. Finn going to be the first ban. Then we have Anchor, Reza, and Fortress all taken off the board, which means Kinetic has snuck through the bans for the very first time today, and Scorpius, without breathing, grabs that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, very quick lock-in of Kinetic. It's one of those heroes that like you kind of keep it hovered over and just like, are they going to ban it? Are they going to ban it? Yes, grab it! Like immediately. Just so there's not even a discussion about that one really. If it's left open, you grab it.
It's like, do we want to win this game? Oh, yeah, okay, we'll grab Kinetic then. Celeste and Samuel are going to be the answers on the other side. So a lot of CP damage going to be coming out from the side of Devious Methods. I'm curious to see what else they draft in their composition to play around those ranged carries.
Yeah, I mean, you've got obviously a lot of range with Samuel and Celeste comboed, but now you need to be able to protect them. Ooh. So I expect a couple of bruises. The Lance is interesting.
First one of the tournament so
It is
far.
First one of the tournament, and if you look at the global win rates, I know it's not always indicative of how it fares at the professional level, but Lance is actually the lowest win rate in the game right now.
Is that true? I didn't realize he was, I knew I hadn't seen him in a while. I didn't realize his win rate was quite that low. I'd be interested to see what they can do. Obviously, Lance can be a playmaker, but this is a much bigger map than 3v3, so he kind of loses some efficiency. We'll see how that's going to pan out, though. Idris going to be locked in on the side of Devious Methods. They have a huge amount of damage on that composition, but not a whole lot of utility right now.
Yeah, and there's going to be a little bit of that frontline utility with the Arden pickup, so that's going to help them out for sure with being able to just survive a little bit or engage these fights as well. But like I said, you need something else that's going to be able to survive and be durable and help protect the Celeste and the Idris especially. Like the Idris, it's almost doesn't mesh with this composition very well because you have so much range with the Celeste and Samuel that apparently I want them to pick Adagio because it's on my tongue, but with the Idris, he's going to be diving in, and so that's going to make Arden's job actually very difficult of choosing, does he stick with the backline or does he go in with the Idris?
Well, speaking of Adagio, he is going to be locked in for the side of Witch Doctor.
That's all it was.
Perhaps that's the case. They have a Moline as well. So actually a very nice rounded composition coming out from Witch Doctor. Yep. I'm curious about the Lance. We'll see how well that's going to do. Does actually very well into Arden. So we'll see how that interaction plays out. It looks like it could be a glaive for the final pick here. So very squishy team for Devious Methods, it has to be said. But again, with compositions like that, when you have huge damage and not much HP to work with, if you can get a lead early, that can be just tremendous.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And so now that we know what heroes are going to be played, let's go ahead and find out who's going to be playing them. As on the side of Witch Doctor VG, it is going to be Scorpius, Solo, Stratosphere, Cerberus, and iPentaQ.
It certainly is. And we'll see how they're going to be able to bring themselves on into this series. But their opponents are going to be Devious Methods. They've picked a very brave composition. We'll see if they're going to be able to bring the skills to the table. It's 911, it's Pro, Mystery Ginger. We have Akemi Kanami. Latent Substance, and then Omega Aid. So strong composition coming in from them if they can play well mechanically. So kind of a bit of a confidence play coming in, running a composition that they have.
I feel like they're going to be looking to get a very early lead because you have the glaive, and if glaive can get any of these lanes snowballed, it's going to get out of hand very quickly. But glaive might be in a lane himself, so it's going to be interesting to see where they end up going.
We will have to see where they take these heroes. It's time to get on into our last North American best of 3 in the play-ins. It's Witch Doctor VG versus Devious Methods.
Well, I hope you guys are ready to kick things off for North America because the games are underway. We have Witch Doctor VG going up against Devious Methods. This is game 1 of our first series, and it looks like this is going to be a pretty fun game. I think strong drafts on both sides, and I'm not sure, do we have a favorite here?
Well, whenever there's a kinetic in the game, I'm always like slightly favored towards the kinetic because weapon power kinetic is just absolutely ridiculous. So I think obviously Witch Doctor in a strong position. They've got a really good mid lane and a full Melee that's going to give them anti-dive potential because Melee is really good at locking down people that dive, like the Idris, like the Glaive. As long as she plays it right, she can pull and stun and everything, and root and everything like that. And I know Witch Doctor did almost participate in the EPL, but couldn't get a roster together for it. So they were definitely one of those teams that were up there in terms of seeking out competitive opportunities. And this will be a big opportunity for them going up against Devious to strut their stuff on the North American stage.
Definitely will be. And you want to come out strong here, you know? You want to show that you are here to really contend. As I'm looking at these lanes, I'm not seeing anything that necessarily really stands out to me. Are you seeing any discrepancies in the matchups here?
Yeah, I can see that they put. Oh wait a second, we've got a bit of action top lane solo. Just have to be careful.
All right.
There's a Samuel bot top lane, so they're actually running a Samuel top lane into the kinetic. Obviously, it's top lane for them. That does strike me as odd because Samuel is very much a golden experience dependent hero. But looks like it's just a 1v1 lane as it stands. There is an invade into that weapon power buff right now.
The invade's there. They've got the Impale, the stun as well, and this should be the first blood. In fact, it will go to Meleen. Omega Aid looks like he might be locked down on the back of this as well. Wow! Oh my goodness, they're going to get 2. Now, moving in, boosted in their confidence, they will try to contest this Gold Oak as well. Witch Doctor VG really putting on a performance there in the first 2 minutes of this one. Look at the network lead, dude!
Oh, dude, they are killing it right now.
Get another one! Get in there! Impale, off the mark, but they get the Gold Oak, and my man, this is like over a 2K net worth in the first 2 minutes.
That is insane, dude. I mean, that is one of the quickest gold leads I've ever seen generated for a team. And that is going to allow them to go back and get some serious items under their belt. Even so much so that PentaQ on the Adagio is going to forego going a tanky build and has decided to go towards an alternating carry. This guy wants to go DPS output. And this spells to me that Witch Doctor VG are confident coming into this series.
Get him. I like this. I think he should get a lot of work done on this Adagio, and he is in top lane, right?
Yeah, I mean, he should be a top lane Adagio. I think that's basically what I've seen from the get-go.
Yeah.
Looks like they're trying to put pressure on the...
Impale. Get wrecked, kid! Oh, Witch Doctor VG! They're out here to play, man. They take the camp away. They take your life. Take your girl.
Damn, this is not looking good here. That's another big root.
This guy got another stun, Mystery Changer. Get wrecked! Light him up, you're out of here.
And that's actually a Captain Tony, by the way. So that's why those Impales are doing so much damage. This is Weapon Power Lance with a heavy steel picked up already.
Oh.
You land those Impales, you're going to Pain Train Town. I didn't quite say that right, but you're going to get hurt.
Going to Pound Town.
That's what I meant to say. But I got told off for saying that in broadcast once, so...
Did you?
Yeah.
It's all right. My mic doesn't work, probably cut off anyway. We're fine. Stratosphere having a pretty good game.
You've been good this game. In fact, whatever you've done, you sound brilliant.
Imagine that. Imagine a world where things improve. I like PentaQ on this CP Adagio as they make the rotation into mid. They're going to find the route onto 911. It's pro. Do not dial 911, but this is an emergency over here for Devious Methods.
Yeah, I mean, they are getting starved out of gold. I mean, Celeste is, what, 13 to 21 for solo? Penta's on 22 compared to the... Well, actually, the Samuel's doing okay, but he has been in a 1v1. Mystery Ginger, whatever position he happens to be playing, he's only on 6 CS right now.
Yeah.
So
it's rough. Omega
Yeah,
Aid
it is.
impaled up, 304 damage there. A defensive afterburn. And the scaredy cat's going to run away.
I mean, I would be running away.
Because he's the Glave's cat.
Yeah, got it. Don't you worry. I
It's comedy.
absolutely that one registered on my comedy senses as a small internal giggle. Thank you.
Disappointment, just so you know. 911, it's pro. Beating the AFK there. He'll be okay with the self Vanguard, or will he? That is deep. That's the ultimate also coming out there, and a lot of damage. But 911, it's pro, will be okay. And you're talking a level 6 kinetic into the level 3 Arden. This is rough stuff. Wait.
Arden's captain, but he was just covering for the Samuel.
Yeah, I was seeing funny things on my screen, but everything makes sense all of a sudden.
Yeah, this is the interesting thing that they're running this like double threat, but instead of having the Samuel in the mid or the jungle, they're putting him in top. But they are lucky because Witch Doctor ended up going in a 1v1 situation in that lane, so Samuel actually had a decent laning phase. However, that also allows the kinetic to scale up very nicely too.
Scorpius with a little trash talk onto Latent Substance. We'll find the stun. Where's the follow, man? Almost took him down by himself.
Doesn't look like they've got it in the bank. That's a big hit.
Got him!
And Mystery Ginger, 75% of his HP just disappeared with a single tendrils from the Malign. The level advantages are starting to show. Witch Doctor has
Omega Aid!
no
He's
chill.
down!
He's down.
8-0.
Witch Doctor, they've got no chill, Humanist. They're going straight for Ghostwing. No heads will be spared in this game. No mercy given to the team that seems to be struggling. Witch Doctor want a clean, quick series.
You know, Witch Doctor probably were watching the European matches earlier, and they were like, dude, look at it. These poor casters have to do 2 sets of 3 series, plus they had like a 35-minute game. Let's make it quick for them, you know? Probably they need to rest their vocal cords.
Well, they're certainly doing a good job of it. As Stratosphere, again, looking to be aggressive. Scorpius doesn't land a taunt, but I'm doing your job. I don't know why.
It's not my job.
It's because I've been doing it for another game, which I'm not going to mention because chat will rip me. I've been doing your job for another game.
You have?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I actually don't believe that.
You don't
Latent
believe it?
Substance, rooted, 337 damage, and to get the dunked.
Well, this game's going well.
I mean, they're outclassed, they're overpowered, and this is the killing fields. We're talking 12 minutes and 7.5, or 12 kills in 7.5 minutes, and honestly, barring some throwing out of Witch Doctor or them deciding to just play with their food, this could be over in I don't know, 11 minutes.
I mean, it's definitely looking that way. They need to start pushing these global objectives in the side lanes, but right now, everything is going Witch Doctor's way. There's the Oblivion.
Oh, nice Oblivion there. Solar Storm on target as well. Bit of coordination coming out from Devious Methods, but nothing will actually happen there. Taunt onto the Latent Substance. Solo looking like he wants to chase it down. Will not find the route. Not a big deal though. His team definitely comfortable in a strong position here. And there are 4 near mid. Look like Serbius drops over to take the Crystal Treant as the rest of his team hammers on his turret a little. There is a jump in, but the peel back from the Lance. So, I mean, you have this core Lance, but he can also play defensively, which is great. Gosh, you guys are really committing. I mean, it's like borderline attempted throw.
Yeah, I mean they are definitely trying to do their best to be a nuisance here. That's
Scorpius they're baiting with Fountain, dude. That's what happens. They're holding the Fountain. They're gonna jump in.
Yeah.
There goes. No, they're still holding the Fountain. My goodness, there. It finally comes out. They've successfully baited them. And Adagio's here. There's gonna be another stun. That'll be 3 kills into mid. It's 15-0, and looks like this should be another kill plus the turret at least.
Oh, Idris going in though. Has to be careful.
Oh, get him!
Very close.
Oh, Idris almost got himself a kill there.
Very, very close. Witch Doctor here. Oodles of gold in the lead at 9 minutes. Like 10k gold lead opened up at 9 minutes, which is just frankly rather insane. And let's see if they can look for a quick win.
I can't even play-by-play this, but what I can do is I can become a caller caster with you. We could just talk about, you know, honestly, we're looking at 2 different skill level teams. That's incredibly obvious.
Yeah.
What are some things that Devious Methods, in your opinion, could have done or can do to start to have a larger impact on the game?
A difficult one to answer because they're just so far behind in gold. But if we cycle this back to maybe earlier stages of the game, let's start with the draft. You send Samuel into your top lane position, where he's usually going to be starved of gold. You want something that is either going to threaten the kinetic before she starts to get fairly big in the laning phase, or you're going to want something that does well in a 2 versus 1. Didn't end up being a 2 versus 1, but Samuel's still not having a huge impact in that lane. Frankly, I think you want to use your glaive more aggressively in that bot lane with the Samuel. Like, he should have been there trying to put pressure on Kinetic over and over again, I think you missed. But right now, they're giving him too much space.
Potentially Malign in a bad spot, but drops into shadow form. Is going to impale the 2-man Gething wall. Stratosphere almost feeds one over there, but it's glaive that goes down in the end as he was baited in and chopped down. I gotta say, man, like, I know you are correct when you're reversing the lanes, but it's so confusing.
I know, yeah.
To say it, like, I don't know what the answer is. I'm just saying it's confusing.
Should I just talk about it as the orientation of the map here? Would that be easier for you?
Gosh, I don't know. Like, I think it's correct that you're trying to like spell it out properly, like based on like the actual game knowledge itself. But yeah, it does get confusing like in the moment. Maybe it's either something the viewers will learn to understand over time.
Yeah. I think what's important to note is that when you're in a 1v1 versus a Kinetic and you have a glaive, and there wasn't a 2 versus 1 situation with that Samuel, they probably had a big area that they could try and exploit. They could have put way more pressure on that with the glaive going down to bot with the Samuel over and over again, maybe to stop this Kinetic from scaling. That would have been a good way, I think, to get an advantage on that side of the map. And then you use the fact that your Samuel is really strong in the mid game with the range advantage over the Malign and just try and sort of pound it out that way.
Bro, this Adagio went broken myth second as well.
I mean, he's also going towards clockwork. These guys mean business. There is no utility Adagio as they start the fight.
They mean business. They will find 2 more kills down in the bottom lane. It's 20-0, 12 minutes in, and things looking good for the Witch Doctors of the world.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to go for maybe Black Claw sometime soon. They're 20-0 at this point. Doesn't really feel like much of a competition when you're standing on the Devious side of things, but they still have a Celeste. They can still scale. They've gone for the burst damage, which I think is good because defenses aren't being prioritized. So I think that's a really good use of the Celeste build. I know that it doesn't mean much because she's so far behind, but because you're going up against people who have barely built any shield, like, you don't want the Dragon's Eye because your Dragon's Eye is not going to stack. You just want to blow them up with those Heliogenesis straight away. So I actually think, even though they are massively behind, she did make the correct itemization choice given the situation that she was presented with.
I like that. It's good analysis. It's also a positive point for Latent Substance, especially if they watch this game back and, you know, if he was questioning his build maybe in the moment, to be verified by a scoundrel himself. There's the root into the stun. The gauntlet actually comes off. 911, it's pro. Make it about the best play he could have in that moment. Stays alive now. It is a 4 versus 5 situation as one Devious Method is currently in the bottom lane. Mystery Ginger. He'll take a turret. This is a nice take for them.
Keep going, dude. Just allow your team to try and battle this black. Yeah, just keep going.
Keep going, dude.
I would.
Oh my goodness. I might write him an actual letter and be like, dude, next time keep going. jump in. A little too late. That'll be the 21st kill of the game. Looks like Arden will die as well. That'll put him up to 22. Latent Substance turns around. Solar Storm, that was actually almost on mark, but that does leave him vulnerable, and Latent Substance will die on the back of this fight. Looks like they'll kill Mystery Ginger. Mystery Ginger showed up to the fight. Who'd have thunk it? Akamikanami was able to get one, so it looks like Scorpius was the single solitary kill on the side of Witch Doctor.
CP buff. Do you want to pick up the CP buff? It's right there in front of you. Okay.
I can't see it. Where is it?
It was on the Celeste's dead body. He walked straight past it. But let me give some substance as to why I thought that staying in the bot lane was better for Idris. He was never going to get there to contest Blacklaw. If his team contested Blacklaw and failed, they were only going to lose it anyway. He'd be much better off pressuring the second tier turret and maybe even the armory turret, and that might have drawn one of the members away from Witch Doctor, which might have helped some of his team escape. Overall, it was better for map pressure for him to stay on that bottom side of the map.
Yeah. I mean, odds are he gets at least one more turret, and there's nothing that's going to happen if you rotate to your team. Like, it was going to be a bad fight no matter what happened. But hey, you know, that's the choice he made. He's got to live with it, and maybe this was a learning moment for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know, he was in the situation where it was a difficult call. Like, your team probably say they're doing Blacklaw, we need you. It's a very heads-up map call to stay down the bot side of the map, and I just didn't make it. I mean, at the end of the day, teams make those kind of mistakes all the time. It's a very hard situation to read Humanist, and I'm not going to blame him for it.
I'll blame him for it. I mean, he did it, but hey, it's also, it does take, you know, having that happen to you a few times before you can correct it. So maybe that's just not a situation he's been in enough times. Now he finds himself in the same situation. Let's see if he pressures this turret or walks back. Scout cam down and the pressure onto the turret. He has corrected course here significantly. And also, I want to point out that the scout cam down before the push, super smart. Look, that's exactly where the pressure is coming from. Now, a good chance that he's going to get caught and die here, because everybody rotated over. But this is, he gets an objective. It's also space created for his team. What's his team able to do in the meantime? They're clumped up here in mid as 4. They're not really getting anything. Latent Substance, is he actually going to die over here? Oblivion will put the Lance to sleep. The chase is on. Gauntlet comes down, stuns up the Lance under the turret. I mean, his teammates aren't getting anything done there.
But it was a good move, like you said, from him, though. Wait a second.
Bada boom. Latent Substance is down. That's the fountain out from Scorpius. 911, it's pro. Rooted and then taunted the other way. I saw that impale miss. Did you see that impale miss?
I definitely saw that impale miss, mate.
Oh, he'll never live that one down. 27-1, 16.5 minutes in. I predicted an 11 to 12 minute end time to this game. But Devious Methods had proved stronger to take down than I expected. With that, that's Pentacue moving in.
Oh, that damage!
Was a burst of judgment. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Not a hard-hitting one like that, Humanist, and this is going to be the game for Witch Doctors. Very dominant. Only let one kill go through. They have to everybody report Scorpius for feeding. But overall,
I already reported him.
Yeah, I'm going to report. I actually can report him.
We could actually thumbs him down right now.
I'm going to thumbs him down for feeding.
I am too.
I actually have done it. But regardless.
All right. Well, we've talked a lot about Kinetic. All right, we've talked a lot about Kinetic destroying games, but let's have a moment to talk about Adagio there. That's the first time we've seen him in this tournament playing as a hard carry.
Yeah, absolutely putting in a lot of work. And Lance, win rate, spin rate, I mean, he absolutely got a lot of those plays set up with those impales. Excellent play coming out of Witch Doctor VG.
Yeah, absolutely. Phenomenal stuff to be seen coming out from this team. And, well, there's 1-0 to them, and honestly, with a win in that kind of fashion, looking towards game 2, it definitely feels like this might just be a one-sided affair. Let's take a look at where we are in the tournament, though. We can glance over our North American bracket. Now, you can see over in the B section of the bracket, we have Liberation X yesterday managed to beat out Carrion 2-0, which means they have now qualified to face Nova. We've got obviously the game that's happening right now, Witch Doctor looking to go against Vision Gaming if they can, but they still have to beat out their opponents. That's over in the D section. then finally, yesterday we had Toxic Peace to start the day, managing to take out Chimmy, which means they have now qualified over in the A corner to face off against Tribe. Now, we have a little bit of a recap of what happened with our Rockstar Rewind.
Yeah, this was actually a pretty good series between these two teams. It was two fairly close games, but it was Toxic Peace that were able to take control of the games. You know, the early to mid games were fairly even, but then once we got towards the later stages, Toxic Peace kind of got the advantages in just about every team fight, and were able to close out the games as a result.
Yeah, honestly, Toxic Peace seemed to get stronger and stronger throughout that series as well. I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do, but they have to face up against Tribe next. And we spoke to Dienzio about how he feels about Tribe's chances in our Razor phone-in.
Yo, what's up guys? It's Dienzio here, and I'm one of the side laners for Tribe Gaming. In the preseason, we ended up taking 3rd place. Not the best result, but it was our first tournament, and it really doesn't matter because we just need to get used to playing in a tournament setting with each other. Further down the road, we played in the Excoundrel Premier League tournament, and we ended up taking 1st place. It was our first tournament win. It was amazing to win with the team, and we definitely learned a lot during this tournament, and there's things that we can take from that for the VPL. So I'm very excited for our team to play in it. I don't need to make a prediction because I know for a fact that we are gonna destroy everyone in it, and teams can practice as hard as they want, but I know for a fact that we will always come out on top. See you guys all on the Silvernail Rise.
All right, so definitely very confident Toxic Peace. I mean, they were always going to have their work cut out, but Dienzio, I mean, he's definitely not worried about that situation. That's your A corner of the bracket that's going to be coming. And we have almost now decided our full round of 16. We have a couple more games to go here today, potentially in this best of 3. But before we jump into our last games of the day, let's hear a word from our sponsors. So we are ready to jump into potentially the last game of the day. It's 1-0 right now in our best of 3 in favor of Witch Doctor. And with a convincing win like that in game 1, you'd expect this might end up being a 2-0 affair. But in all of our 3-game best of 3s, it's felt like Team 1 wins convincingly, and then everything is just flipped on its head.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the chance that it turns around, but usually when Team 1 wins convincingly, it's not that quite as convincingly as the game 1 of this series. So it would be very surprising if Witch Doctor does not take this one in similar fashion, and it would also be a little worrisome almost for them because, again, you have to face Vision Gaming if you win this one, so you want to make sure that you get decisive victories here in the play-ins.
You really do. I'm curious to see how the bans are going to pan out here. If you're Devious Methods, do you ban the Kinetic? Obviously, you could leave Kinetic open and try and pick it yourself, but these bans are incredibly valuable for them because, I mean, Adagio, I would argue, was probably ban-worthy off of the back of that game because Witch Doctor clearly know how to use that hero.
Yeah, it was very strong in that one, and so, like you said, it's something you have to think about here, and that's one of the things that makes it so difficult to draft at a high level is, you know, do you just stick to your original game plan? Do you make these knee-jerk reactions to the previous game and just ban away what was strong, but then potentially leave open other power picks that might be even stronger?
Celeste is actually going to be banned here. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen any Celeste bans so far in the tournament. This is something me and you were talking about previously. Is Celeste feels like one of those picks that's incredibly strong, but it's almost like not quite as strong as the likes of Kinetic and things, so never gets the ban slot, but then is permanently picked because of that.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those heroes that you have to change the way you play when she's on the rise, and if you just don't want to deal with that, you don't want to say, okay, we don't want to play this protect the carry comp, we also don't really want to have to force ourselves into having the ability to dive past a protect the carry comp. So let's just take it off the board and just see what ends up happening as a result.
Absolutely. Well, Kinetic was not first picked here, which means Witch Doctor once again have their carry. Well, they dominated it with it. They dominated with it in game number 1, if I can talk at all. Arden was the first pick, which I think is a reasonable first pick. I just question allowing Kinetic through.
Yeah, it definitely raises a few eyebrows, I'd say, and Adagio is still available, so they could look to maybe take that away here, because obviously it wasn't just the Kinetic that got them the win, but Kinetic is still a very strong hero, but you have to do something to disrupt what your opponents were doing in the last game. You cannot give them the exact same composition unless you really strongly feel like tweaking your composition around can suddenly deal with it. So we'll see what they do decide to go with. They grab themselves the Lyra to go along with the Arden, so likely to be the Lyra captain, with Arden either as a weapon power carry or a secondary captain. But it's without the Celeste being available, having a lot of those captains as like that frontline protection doesn't make quite as much sense.
It certainly does not. The Baron is going to be coming on through. I'm excited to see this hyper carry stepping back onto the rise. We saw it a little bit in Scoundrels tournament. We're not really seeing it here in the VPL just yet, so I'm excited to see if Devious Methods, maybe this power pick is something that could bring them back into the series. Obviously, it's not a common pick, but if you use it well, it can take over a game.
Yeah, and it can fit into that protect the carry type slot that we've talked about it before, about how it's a potential carry for that role because it's been in that role in 3v3. So it's a lot of weight on one player's shoulders, especially after the way the previous game went. But they're gonna go for another, pretty strong carry here with the Vox. So it's not gonna be protect the Baron. And so now this team composition, this last pick is really gonna kind of determine how they're gonna look to win fights.
Rhyme being hovered right now. I'd be very surprised to see a Rhyme locked in, but it's definitely a strong hero. It used to be incredibly strong back in 3v3.
Okay.
Ozo for the second time today is going to be locked in here. This is actually kind of an interesting comp from Devious Methods, but it makes more sense than the comp did in game one.
It does, but it still doesn't feel like a fully cohesive composition. Like there isn't a really proven identity with this composition, and that
feels
makes
balanced,
it difficult.
It does feel balanced at least, so we'll see if they're going to be able to pull this one off. Just before we head on into this game, I want to do a quick shout out to some of the North American pros that we'll be seeing over the next few weeks. Now, obviously, D'Anzio, we heard some words from him earlier on Tribe, is going to be a huge player to watch. You've got Truth stepping in for Nova Esports once again. Massive carry. He was a huge kind of story when he first came into the Vainglory scene. He was this unproven talent. Now he's on one of the big rosters. Cos, previously on TSM, a genius in the jungle, as it were, knows how to control a game. But finally, Mingshi on Hammers I want to talk about, because he's an old school veteran and he's coming back into the scene.
Yeah, he's back in once again. I actually want to focus a little bit more on Cos there, just because Cos is going to be playing the winner of this series. So
true, very
again,
true.
Keep an eye on the junglers in this matchup, because that's who they're going to have to deal with if they win this one.
We'll see who Cos will have to deal with as it's time to jump into this game. It's Witch Doctor VG versus Devious Methods. It's time to find out who will take this.
Here we go for a hotly contested series between Devious Methods and Witch Doctor VG. Nobody knows which way this game will go. I do know we have an Ozo on the map, and that's got to be a great strength over here for Devious Methods.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Ozo, all the power it brings to this composition is completely nullified because they've got a CP Baron, so I can tell you they've already lost.
Yeah.
That's my top tier analysis.
Well,
CP Baron is an instant lose. Although, I've seen Stranger Things, Humanist.
yeah, sorry, I had a horn going outside my window. I was seeing what was going on. Yeah, I mean, CP Baron, you've talked about it before. This is not a pick that you like, but I think it's a pick that can actually get work done.
I mean, look, okay, let me talk about the value of CP Baron. If you get to late game and you get to 3 items plus, he is obnoxious to deal with, especially when he's got that clockwork online, because his spam of his mortar missiles, whatever they're called, the mortars, they
Porcupine
are really,
mortars.
That's it, porcupine mortars. They are incredibly tough to have to constantly juke in a team fight, and obviously if you're not quite switched on A couple of those,
I'm switched on.
They'll chunk you for a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I think with the loss of Echo, like his double ultimates, which were super impactful in a lot of teamfight situations, are now gone. Although one of the benefits of the Baron ultimate is that it can clear waves instantaneously for you as the CP variant. So you can actually control minion waves without actually having to go to that lane, which does help you in terms of map pressure. So there are some benefits to CP Baron, but I mean, I'm stretching there, you know?
So what I'm hearing you say is that players, while talented and intelligent, are not quite intelligent enough to take full I don't know,
like, I feel like you extrapolated what I just said there. what I'm saying is players are definitely intelligent enough to take advantage of CP Baron, but for the most part CP Baron sucks.
Mysterious Ginger in a 1 versus 3. Only an Ozo could have survived that long. Will be first blood for Witch Doctor though. No surprises there.
Yeah, Witch Doctor definitely looked the strongest of the two teams in our first game. I don't think anybody is holding their breath for Devious. They would have to do a lot of work to put themselves in a solid position to take this game. It just looked like from the outset the Witch Doctor were the team that was better. Minion Candy's coming through here. They really don't want to push this mid lane turret, and then CP Baron is the one that's providing them. So actually using a fair chunk of his gold to invest in those Minion Candies.
Hey, they're adapting to the game, right? I mean, he knew there was going to be pressure. He knew that he was probably outclassed a little bit. What do? You know, he reacted to that. And that's about the most you could hope for. Look at his team helping him out too, holding it down. They're actually trading damage back the other way. Mystery Ginger looking for kill. Scorpius is low. Acro bounce. Get him! Ozo, this score is tied up 1-1. In fact, they're moving in. Devious Methods looking for Solo. Solo under the turret. Throws that Drifting Dark in a scared manner as if he might have even been spooked.
What can I say, dude? That's Ozo for you. Just killing it right now. Yeah. He's already got that heavy steel online. He was doing a lot of damage. Nice use of the acro bounce to close the gap afterwards.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I mean, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe this CP Baron composition has got a chance this time around. They actually got their kill about 20... No, not even 20 minutes didn't go that long. They got their kill 10 minutes earlier this time around.
Wow. I mean, that is really good. And we knew Ozo was going to change things. Just didn't think it would be this dramatic. He's got a crystal buff. He's also about to get a weapon buff, and I would expect he will move out into these lanes, look for another kill very shortly here. If you're Witch Doctor VG, you have to be kind of wondering, like, you know, what are we going to do next? We could be taken out at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, also something else I want to throw your way. Just throw you throw your little output here. PentaQ playing Kinetic, but not going to be the weapon power carry Kinetic on the top side of the map for them. It's going to be the Kinetic CP, which is very interesting, in my opinion. And you can see in the bot lane, they're already trying to get some work done onto this Vox.
I'm not even a good enough player to know what that even means. Why don't you break that down for us?
What, CP Kinetic?
Yeah.
It's a mid lane pick, and Kinetic for the most part is considered really strong in the weapon power variant.
Yeah.
CP Kinetic will scale up really hard, and she kind of hits like a truck with her A when she's got some CP behind her. But again, if we flip the map on its head, putting CP Kinetic in a situation where she could be starved of gold, it hasn't happened in this game, but against better teams, it definitely would.
And she would get starved in gold because her laning situation is harder because the people facing her, or her position on the map?
Usually because the jungler and the opposing bot laner would 2v1 her. That's the general meta right now. Obviously, we're not seeing that in these games because it's probably not at super high level.
Mystery Ginger's on target. Jump jets in. Mortar, porcupine mortars coming. I almost said mortar missiles like you did, and they get just slam and jam it into the ground as it's a 5-man collapse.
So in general in the meta, I mean that was just a good collapse. I'm not much to say about it, but in general in the meta, Humanist, for the most part. What the hell? Arden's got teleport boots. First item.
He's like, there's pressure in every lane. How am I going to deal with this? I have to be able to teleport at a moment's notice. And maybe if they would have just given me an item where I could teleport from lane to lane, I wouldn't have to do this. Is probably what he's emailing to the devs right now.
Yeah, but the problem is that he's invested gold in what should have been a crucible into teleport boots.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Do you see the issue?
Failing to see the issue, but I'm sure it'll be all right.
Basically,
grant 600 barrier to the target while channeling. I mean, that's pretty effective strategy if used properly.
You can't teleport to your own heroes, though.
Yeah, but you could teleport to a turret.
I mean, he definitely saved the turret. I'm not gonna lie, he definitely saved that turret. That was probably an important buy for him, Humanist.
I don't know any other way they could have saved that turret. He probably made that decision in like a quarter of a second. That's very impressive stuff when you think about it. Stratosphere taking a lot of damage as Ozo's in. Ozo's trying to engage, and if somebody, for the love of God, would just back up this Ozo, he could actually do something, but he'll go down. His Arden will as well, and Witch Doctor VG will find himself up 5-1, 7 minutes in.
Do you know what might have helped there, actually?
If I was playing?
Yeah, I think that number one, obviously, when you've got an Ozo God on your team, there's no way you can lose.
Yeah.
Another thing that might have helped was a Fountain or a Crucible. Not going to point any fingers, actually. I think we're past that now, Humanist. Not going to point any fingers.
Yeah, we're more mature than that.
Exactly. But no, I'm only messing around. Obviously, anything. I'm not intending to be intentionally inflammatory. I just, sometimes find.
It's just a natural ability I have.
It's just the natural ability I have to be. If you ask anybody on
what
Reddit,
happens when I push air through my vocal cords.
If you ask anybody on Reddit, on the Vainglory subreddit, they'll tell you that I am the most inflammatory person in the world.
Dude, I meant to ask you about that. Do you do anything besides lurk on the Vainglory subreddit? I was thinking you posted and like 20 seconds later you've got a reply.
No, I actually live on the Vainglory subreddit. I just recently invested in a house there.
Wow.
I've heard the share price is going up, so my house is going to probably gain value.
Yeah, it will, as long as the trolls don't get you. 2-man stun coming out there. Look at the efficiency. Mystery Ginger. Not much he can do. Can't really run away. And he can maybe try to help his buddy. Well, he will try to run away. Nope, and right back into it because his team is collapsing. Look at this. This could be a dead Idris right here. Idris, and he's over the wall. And that arcane passage was lol.
Almost. It was almost there, Humanist. It's the thought that counts, and there was a lot of thought that went into that arcane passage.
It did. He probably overthunk that one.
Potentially.
Fear finds the stun and the taunt as well. Look at him in a 3v1 situation, actually not even caring. His team has backed him up. It's a 4 from Witch Doctor here in mid, plus PentaQ is rotating from bottom down in towards mid. They're going to find Mystery Ginger. Mystery Ginger's got to be careful, could take a lot of damage here. He's backed up by Omega Aid, and this is the kill for the O's. Oh no, but the Fountain, you got baited in. Oh my goodness. Stratosphere, you got to be careful. There might be some fishermen watching, and they're looking for some better bait themselves, and he might be on the end of a hook if he's not careful here. Witch Doctor, they're gonna move in aggressively under that turret though. They might lose Tony. Tony bit off more than he can chew. Tony put down. This is 100% more kills than Devious Methods had in game 1.
Yeah, and honestly, despite the gold differential, there are some things going on that could be good. They're going to catch out PentaQ here potentially.
Get him! He's just a walking weapon buff. Bangarang. Look at that, man. And look at the cooldown. That's an effective cooldown. These guys, that's 3 kills, 10 minutes.
Yeah, and Baron's got that Spellfire on board. First item's going to shut down the healing from the Grace and potentially the self-healing coming out from the Tony, from the Samuel. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying that there is maybe some thought that's gone into that build right there. Would have preferred Shatterglass personally, but regardless.
Huh? What are you gonna do? We don't get everything we want, right?
No, it's very true. I mean, I can request a lot of things, and a lot of them are not going to happen. So,
Arden trying to defend that top turret gets killed. The turret falls as well. This is tough, man. Latent Substance, I feel like shouldn't even be in lane this low. Like, I mean, he's trying to hang around, I guess, clear some of the wave, but I've seen a couple of these guys hang around when they're sitting on like 30-40% health, and there's just nothing you can do. I think some players get baited into like that situation where they feel like I need to hang around in case something happens. But the truth is, like, if you don't have full health, you can't square up on anybody. Like, you're just useless because you're not going to be aggressive at all.
There's a lot of people that have this conundrum where they're like, I want to hang around to save the turret, even on low HP. The problem that results in is that they end up just diving you, killing you, and taking the turret. So you just gave up your life needlessly. A lot of players need to make that distinction between turret. Oh, wait a second. That's a lot of damage going down with Samuel.
That's a lot of sleeping right here. Solo. That was a pretty clean little Oblivion he put out.
Absolutely. I mean, also, the damage on Samuel was pretty strong. That Stratosphere going in.
Bada boom, disrupting devious methods. Ozo's on the front of this fight. Ion Cannon will come down, and it felt good, man. But not when you lost the Ozo. Gauntlet comes out a little too late for this party. It looks like they're going to be losing their Vox. They will lose their Baron. He got demolished. They lost everybody. It's a mess. It's a bloodbath here in the mid lane, Scoundrel.
Should be an easy Ghostwing and Blacklaw, to be honest. They look like they're going to split their focus across the two of them. A double global objective steal, and maybe Samuel even greedily staying around for that tier 2 in the mid lane. This is a clean sweep of objectives on the map right now for Witch Doctor, and it kind of feels like there wasn't any other outcome.
Well, I feel like they could have played that better. Mystery Ginger is really setting his team up for some good fights here, and you saw how that Gauntlet came out like well after the Ozo was dead. What I would have liked to see is that Gauntlet come down and like try to drop the wall right on Ozo's head. It'll split the fight. He has a fighting chance. Give him the Vanguard, but it's not what happens. Stratosphere incredibly low. Go get the kill, Arden. What are you doing right there? Come on, bud. No, he stays around. He wants the Black Claw, but he's not going to get it. In fact, this is a bang ring in from the Ozo. He's stunned up. 911, it's pro, dropping low. That's the Fountain. Devious Methods trying to get back. The Arcane Passage trolls out the Vox. Omega Aid getting Omega lulled by his Lyra. Lyra is dead. Arden is dead. Ozo will be dead in just a moment. Latent Substance doing his best with these Porcupine Mortars. Look at the Ion Cannon coming down. Stratosphere is not going to sit right in the middle of it, though, so it's not going to matter. And the taunt. Oh, taunt clips the Ozo. You're dead. Nice taunt, man. A little trash talk never hurt anybody.
No, but give credit to Latent Substance. He's actually started to do some serious damage in these fights now that Clockwork's online. Obviously, we could talk forever about how this game's pretty much over, but I do want to give credit to the side of Devious where I can. This CP Baron is starting to do a little bit of work in these fights. Just needs, another 15 minutes, and maybe they make a comeback.
Yeah, it would have to be... Let's be real. Witch Doctor VG would have to legitimately, on purpose, throw this game for Devious Methods to win. They're just, they're outclassed.
It would have to be two disconnects, a series of very unfortunate events that would lead to a victory here for Devious. But like I said, I don't want to wail on them too hard. There is obviously... This is like taking a solo queue game where, you've got... Your tier 6 is matching against Vainglory or Silvers or whatever. There is just such a skill discrepancy at this point that it's very difficult to point out anything that isn't just that they are better players. And it's not bad to be worse than your opposition. I think people shouldn't get too offended by that. Sometimes you just haven't played as long, or you don't have the same level of skill, and you're just mismatched in terms of true skill value. That's perfectly fine. And Witch Doctor just outskill their opponents on an individual level, and that results in what you see here. It's almost like a decimation of the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to give a little bit of feedback. We're poking some fun, but I did give real feedback. Like when the Ozo is engaging, like drop the Gauntlet wall on top of where Ozo is engaged into. Give him the Vanguard. Give him a fighting chance. Don't like try to come in a fight after he's already dead. Oh, the Gauntlet canceled off by the Holy Nova right there. Mystic Ginger's dead, and you've lost all hopes. Ozo's down. Arcane Passage means Akame Kanami will be able to get out of this one. Omega Aid chased down by Serbius. He should die. Latent Substance booting himself out. Interesting Porcupine Mortars. But with the jump jets, he himself is out of there. And they only lost 2. It felt like they would lose 3 to 4 at least.
Yep, they managed to get out, but they're unhealthy, so they have to head back to base, and that should be an armory turret going down here. Witch Doctor going to do their best to escape from this situation. Akinamami, I can't even say their name. Akeminakami. He didn't quite have the tag on that B there for the Lyra, but regardless, it stopped any potential engagers coming through. Ghostwing has been picked up now. An armory turret is exposed. The armory on the top side of the map feels like Witch Doctor just need to pull the trigger now.
Locked and loaded. Witch Doctor move in. Serbius has found this Vox. This Vox literally can do nothing. That was 680 damage. That seems appropriate. Jump in by Stratosphere onto Latent Substance, finds the taunt as the bada boom was blocked off. Now Serbius is here, throwing the chakrams, letting them rip. Scorpius zoning with the Holy Nervers. Arden survives through this. Ozo will die mid-bangerang, and oh, get yourself another one. Wow, they almost took down the Samuel, but Solo is actually too strong. A 2-man taunt, Stratosphere. Nice job, buddy. Jump jets from Latent Substance, almost trolled out, dies underneath the healing platform. That'll be the triple kill coming through for the Idris. Serbia is a hell of a game, and instead of ending it, they're going to pad their stats a little. They're going to go get themselves a little armory right there. 17 minutes in, 24-3. Make that 25-3. And we're going to have a good game right here. Witch Doctor, VG, taking a very strong 2-0 victory and moving on into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, they look good. They're going to be going up against, I believe, Vision Gaming, which is the old TSM, barring Chuck, I believe. So they'll have a bit of a challenge on their hands when they go into the next round. But for now, they have left Devious on the wayside. And it, again, was a bit of a skill mismatch.
Bit of a skill mismatch, kind of like us.
All right, well, Witch Doctor VG do manage to take the series in the end 2-0. Off the back of the first game, this was a fairly expected way for the second game to play out. They do manage to take it in the end. But, I mean, Witch Doctor definitely looked good. They looked consistent, even managing to win with a CP Kinetic. So you know you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, CP Kinetic isn't necessarily bad. It's just the weapon power variant is just better. Yeah. So it's not like it's, you know, a total... You know, oh, they won with CP Kinetic, so they must be really good. It's just they decided to, that's how they wanted to run that composition. Yeah. They knew that, you know, after the game one, they knew they could probably didn't have to run the ideal game.
It's definitely not something I'd describe as meta. I think there are, if you want to run CP, there are better carries to run CP. But let's move on with our day and take a look at our final bracket. We now have our full round of 16 decided for North America. This is your Razer Phone bracket, and you can see all of your matchups for the next few weeks are lined up on your screens now. You can see the Witch Doctor have now moved on. They're going to be going up against Vision Gaming. That's over in the D block. But that is every single play-in match completed in both regions now. We're going to break down what's going to be happening for you guys next weekend in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor. So let's talk about what's going to be coming to your screens next weekend on the VPL Summer Open. We can take a look at our schedule because everything is going to be starting once again at 9 a.m. PT for the European stuff. That it will be beginning on Saturday morning, same time. It'll be rolling into Sunday as well. 2 best of 3s for each region each day. We'll be starting off in Europe with Raw Fury versus Danger Zone, and then we'll be heading into one of our flagship matches. It's going to be Clash going up against one of our playing teams, Great Inboxes.
Yeah, and then over in North America, we're going to get to see another set of great games. It's going to be Rampage Gods against Playful Things, one of our teams to watch. And then another flagship matchup as Tribe will be taking to the VPL against Toxic Peace. So we'll finally get to see how these play-in teams, or some of these play-in teams, stack up against the best that the VPL has to offer to our knowledge.
This is going to be the real test for these play-in teams next weekend. I cannot wait to see Tribe jump onto the map once again. I cannot wait to see Clash as well. But honestly, the matchups next week should be leveling up. I expect better drafts. I expect more intense matchups as well. Make sure that you are there with us. That's going to be about it from us. My name is Munchables. I've been joined by Tasty Bacon. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. PT.